a traveller came staggering into town, demanding to be brought before the town magistrate, who happened to be Mulla Nasrudin. And the traveller, when he was brought before the Mulla, said, I've been robbed, I've been robbed. The bandits took my wagon with all its goods in it and my donkey, and took my turban and my shoes and my clothes. I demand justice. And the Mulla said to him, I see you're still wearing your underpants. Yes, said the traveller. Case dismissed, said Mulla Nasrudin. The traveller said, why? Mulla Nasrudin said, it is obvious that the robbery did not take place in our jurisdiction because we do things properly here. Then the Mulla was dragged up before a panel of noted judges because he'd been accused of heresy. But before doing so, he demanded his rights to speak. And he said, before these illustrious gentlemen make their judgment of me, I demand that they be given paper and pencil and answer the question, what is bread? So when the judges wrote down their answers, and the answers were written out, of course one said, oh, it's grain that's been ground and made into wheat, and another one said it's wheat and water and sugar and etc. Another one said it's the staff of life. So amongst all the 7 judges who were brought forth, everyone had a different answer. So Mulla Nasrudin said, how is it possible that these judges can make a judgment about what heresy is when they don't even know what bread is? And so there's that final little anecdote about the king who overheard his peon, his servant, muttering to himself about how he only earned 100 rupees a month, and the advisor who sat beside the king earned 1,000 rupees a month, and all he did was sit there and whisper in the king's ear and eat the sweetmeats that were brought around, etc., etc. So the king wanted to give his servant a lesson. So right at that moment, it was noticed that there was a palanquin heading down the road, and so the king said to his peon, I wonder where that palanquin is going. So immediately the peon ran off down the road to intercept the palanquin, and he came back and he said, the palanquin's heading for a certain place. Oh, where is it going? Said the king. So the peon raced off again down the road to ask the question, well, who's riding in the palanquin? So he ran off again and back with the answer. It's an Ananda, and it's that famous Ananda being. Oh, what's he going to that's right. So the peon races down the road and back again to give the answer. Well, he's going to give a dissertation at this. Oh, who's he going to give the dissertation to? Oh, it's a group of Brahmins who are staying at the ashram at the moment. Well, of course, this went on until finally the peon gasping in front of it and falling down in front of the king, totally and absolutely exhausted. And then, of course, the king called his advisor to him, and he said, there's a palanquin that just passed down the road. Would you go and find out what it's on about. And so the advisor was back in just a few moments, and he reeled off, the Palanquin is carrying this Ananda, and he's going to this ashram, and he's going to give a dissertation before all these Brahmins. And so the king, in the hearing, of course, of his peon, who was still sitting there panting and exhausted on the floor, he asked his advisor, well, how did you glean all this information? And the advisor said, well, I just asked one question. And so I got all the answers. And so the king, turning to his peon, said, well, you see, now you've found out why it is that you only earn 100 rupees a month and he earns 1,000. So that, of course, takes us to a question that arises out of that which has been said over these last days. Where are we? What is this place when we no longer need to see by the light of existence or the light of our sensory awareness? And that, if we relate it to this story, we can bring it back to this one question that gleans and gives all the answers. And we could ask, what is that question that the advisor asked? But more importantly, to go to the crux of it, is to ask the question, what is this master key, and we can call it such, that is present for us when we rest in this place where we are no longer seeing by the light of our sensory awareness? What is it we're finding about life now? What is this master key, represented by the one question that the advisor asked? What is it that we're discovering about this place where we're no longer seeing by the light of our senses? Even awareness. What is this master key spoken of in other stories? What is our experience with life now? What is it that elicits our response from the question that even does not need to be asked, but is tacit in our interaction with life now? What is this master key? This unspoken question obtains all the answers and brings a response.
When you don't have any underpants, then the answers come to you.